Hey folks, hope you're well. I'm doing my Friday video Sunday because I'm running late basically. I've been really busy. I said I'd do one about the ADOS clinic visit. I also realised that tomorrow I'm out for a meal, so I won't be doing a video tomorrow. So this is Friday and Monday's video, which means that you don't really get anyone, so sorry about that. But anyway, we had the ADOS clinic on Friday morning, and it's not, I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what it really was. I assumed or imagined it was going to be more clinical, because it's called clinic, more scientific, and I don't know, I think I'd convinced myself that there might be some kind of brain scan on there, like, I mean, I even Googled this afterwards today to check that it even exists. There are scans that can supposedly tell within 100% accuracy, maybe it's certain types of autism or whatever, but it just seemed like there were these scans that could do it, and I wondered, and I just assumed there's going to be a lot more to it. I don't know. I don't necessarily think they were going to hook up to some machine with screens that were going to show stuff, but I thought it was going to be an actually tangible, you know, proper scientific thing. And then we went to the hospital and parked up, and we went in, and Ollie was on his best behaviour. He was playing on his Switch at one point, and he was just, between that and talking to me, he was behaving, but then he wanted to play with everything. He was like, behaviour isn't what I'm getting at. He was behaving, he was happy. By behaving, I mean his anxiety wasn't getting beyond him. I'm not saying he wasn't naughty. I'm saying he was kind of following calm, and I was talking to him through everything. I was trying really hard to just, took him to the toilet, sat down, did the games, let him play with the toys, we waited. I thought that I was going to be going in with, they said that we'd go in and talk, and then they'd talk, and then we'd talk after. But actually she just went, I'm taking Ollie in on his own now. You saw him go from quite calm and just making a bit of, like, playing with some toys to, on the way in, he like stopped at a pool table and was just trying to get the white ball in at any cost. He was just generally scrapping around. He suddenly started thinking, what's all this stuff? And went in the room with her, and I started to get a bit nervous because at first I could hear crashing around. I could hear him talking really loud, and after about 3 or 4 minutes I could just hear crash, bang, stuff just falling out. And I thought, what is going on in there? And after about, must have been about 40 minutes, I could hear him saying, can I open the door? And he was trying to jump. The handle was really high, and he was trying to jump and open it. And then she opened the door and let me in, and she said, oh, okay, that was good, thank you. And Ollie was just, you could tell he wasn't comfortable because he was starting to be a bit funny. And I offered him the Switch and said, do you want to sit down and play on this? I asked the lady, can you tell me anything now? What do you think? And she was like, look, the process is I'm not allowed to say anything. I just have to write my report and I have to send it off. They'll get it today, then we'll see what happens. And I was like, okay. And she said, so I want to have a talk about some bits. And I was like, is there nothing you can say about how it went? And I feel a bit miffed that she basically said, now this is what's put me off. She said to me, yeah, it was a good clinic, or whatever she called it. She said we started off having a little chat about things. She said I got lots of good eye contact, and I thought, okay, I on the way home I'm googling, can autistic people make eye contact? Yeah, they can. Funny that. I knew that already. She said when he was interested, when he wanted to do what I was getting him to do because he thought it was interesting, he made eye contact with me. She said he noticed a frog in a box and really wanted it, and she had to basically negotiate with him that if they did this thing, then he could ever go on playing with the frog in like this middle box. She said they did an 8-panel cartoon where she went through each of the panels, then flipped him over and asked Ollie to retell the story. And apparently he was retelling the story, and he was acting out she said, like, there was a rabbit going like, oh, because its hat had fallen off, and another thing. And she said he acted out all of that exactly how it was on the panel. And I was like, I don't know how to take that. I didn't know whether to take that as she was saying he could tell that the rabbit was upset and the whatever was sad, or whether she was saying he looked at that once, it got turned over, and he remembered the whole thing. I was kind of like, which way round do you take? So I'm second guessing it, but I was just like, both of those things to me sounded like she was saying that's something you would have expected him to not be able to do, but he could do it. She then asked me about so-and-so at school, and I explained that they are, you know, on again, off again friends and enemies, and you know, I think they're both SEN students, and they both have different strengths and drawbacks that kind of clash. Like one's very quick at thinking and impulsive, and the other's very, you know, Ollie's a bit slower, but he's got a bit of a delay and he's impulsive. So he's impulsive still, does seem like he will lash out, but if you want something now, he takes a second to figure out what it is you actually want him to do. And I explained that to her. She asked me a few more questions, and I basically kept telling her about school, home, how the doctor's been talking about it, what the doctor thought versus what we experience. She was asking me, you know, has he, because I said that he'd just done his ADHD clinic as well. She was asking me what that was like, because she said she never had any kind of interactions with that. I explained that from my understanding of it all, you know, the things that they say you shouldn't be able to do if you've got ADHD, he can do, and it's kind of confusing me then, because I sort of said to her, I got to the point where I was like, the doctor has told us that it's extremely likely he's autistic, and it could be that he's got ADHD as well, but they're not sure. I explained why I feel it's unlikely and that autism is likely. She kind of was like, all right, okay, and you know, we carried on talking, and she didn't disagree, but then she also she didn't explicitly say I agree with that. She just kind of was like, okay. She said he was lovely, you know, really nice boy and all of this. She's being polite, I guess. But I mean, he is, but she's being polite about that. He kept interrupting. He kept coming over to talk to me about this Pokemon he'd caught. He came over to try and get me to help him make curry. And I was like, Ollie, we're in the middle of a very important conversation. I was trying to be really polite and calm and just telling him, and he just wasn't listening. He was insisting I would listen to what he wanted to look at. He insisted that I watched this curry thing, and he showed it to the lady. He was talking to her about Pokemon. He just every now and again would chip in, and then after it was funny actually that we finished. I said thanks very much. And I said, Ollie, say thanks, and he was just like thank you, just completely ignored her. And I just thought, you know, he'd gone back to being what I would have expected him to be like. Just he's doing what he wants to do. He's not. I mean, she did say when he was doing what he wanted, he just didn't acknowledge her kind of thing, but. Basically what I'm trying to say is I left that thinking that was really weird. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what she's going to write. I don't know what she's going to suggest. I don't know how it's going to impact anything. As I say, I thought that they were going to say, like, this is the reading we got from this machine, and it suggests that... Because I've definitely seen in my research about all of this when trying to figure it out, that there are pictures of, like, this is how, you know, someone's brain's acting when they're calm. It's like my brain might look like, I mean, my brain wouldn't actually, 'cause I'm always racing, but Claire's brain, because she always says when she's not doing something and she's just sat there, like say she's laying in bed, 9 times out of 10 her brain would just be completely clear, serene and calm. And you know, if you were to draw it as a picture, it'd just be like, I don't know, a starry sky, just calm and anything. If you were to, you know, put my brain in next to that at night time, it'd probably be like a Mardi Gras parade. Everyone's just going nuts. I'm all over the place. I can't sleep. I'm thinking about everything. And I was expecting some kind of like, oh, you know, that what Ollie's brain would be like in this would be like worrying about things and thinking about things and not, I don't know. I don't really know what I was expecting, but it showed it. It was in this picture. It was showing different people's, like, I think like an ADHD brain was supposed to be again firing more, kind of registering everything and that kind of thing. It's I know what I'm saying isn't right, but I'm hoping you understand what I'm getting at. Is there were some clear differences in the screenings of this thing, and I just assumed that was the sort of thing this was going to involve. Whether they'd have some kind of test that he would go through and answer things like verbally, but that would help as well. And it's hard because I know that not everyone's the same, and you know, I know that it's a spectrum of things you can and can't do and that kind of thing, and it could be that he could be really excellent at some things and really like struggle with other things, and that's why it seems really weird. It seems really like she's given a snapshot opinion of a very intangible thing where he's just met this woman for the first time, and if she's to say he made eye contact, tick, and that was to somehow hold him back, it seems odd to me that it depends on how you define it. Like, he could have been just looking in a direction. I don't know. Like, the fact that it's only her and him in the room, and I know she's a professional, I'm not debating what she said. It just worries me that it's like, she can go, yeah, he did that. Yeah, that was fine. Or I can understand his speech, and someone else would be like, I don't understand a word he was saying. But I mean, his speech has come on a lot since it was behind. But you get my point. It could just be, it's subjective to the person doing it. And that worries me because, as I say, I thought it was just going to be scientific, and I don't know. And I sort of said to Claire on the way home, like, that doesn't mean that if we got the report back from the doctors now, and they were like, do you know what? We've done everything and we're not sure, and this has gone to panel and we're not sure. I don't know what they do next. A, if you know what they do next, then great, let me know. B, if they just said, look, we don't think it's that, I'm like, well, I don't know what it is then. I'm at a complete loss to know what the situation is, because either way you look at it, there's needs, and there's a difference from how, how I can't think of the right way to word it. Like, we have to do. Example, we went shopping today. Last time we went shopping, it was a nightmare. Bless him, we didn't prepare clothes, which we should have done. He wet himself while we were out. He got fed up. He hated it. He was very uncomfortable. We had his switch and things like that, but he just got fed up and we had to come home. This time, like, we told him yesterday we were going to go to the local, like, big play area thing, field, and it was a bit colder, so I called him in this morning, and he was being a bit of a wally and just, was trying not to listen or whatever. And I said, no, we need to talk. I want to plan out the day with you. And I want you to know. I said, we're not going there today. We're going to go into town instead. And he was like, oh. And I said, it's okay though, because first things first, it's Pokemon Day. We're going to go and catch some Pokemon. He's like, I don't want it. I said, you do, and you will when we're there. You're just grumpy about the fact we're not going to the play place. I said, but we're going to go there. I said, Emily and Claire are going to go buy some clothes. We need to go into the mobile phone shop to sort out Mummy's contract, and other than that, we'll eat. We'll have some food, and to basically explain it to him. We'll go there. We won't be there long. I said you'll have the phone to play Pokemon, but we'll also have other bits to do. And I said, if you want, we can also go in a shop and we can spend £5 on something. And my mistake last time was I told him we could have £5, and then when he started to be a bit, I was like, right, if you're going to be rude, that's going to be £1 off. And I think it just set him off on one, because he felt like it was jeopardy then, and it made him anxious. So this time I was like, and you're not going to lose it no matter what, you've got it. I'm not going to start using it against you when we're out, because I hate that. I didn't even really mean, I hadn't planned to do that last time. It was just he was rude to me, and I thought, well, if you're going to be like that, you're not going to have it. And then I was like, he got upset, and I said, well, I'll take £1 off. If you're rude to me again, I'll take another £1 off. And that's how I started doing it, but it just made it worse. So this time, when we got there, he forgot about the money, but we were calm the whole way around. It was great. It's the best shopping trip we've had in bloody ages. He was like, I want to play Roblox. I don't want to play Pokemon. And I was like, well, you're going to regret it when I've got 3 and you've got none. And so one of each of the shinies, you can evolve it. And you're going to want one of each. And I'm not going to be able to give you one. So you need to either if you get one, I can trade you the rest I get for like very little. But I can't send you a new one without it costing me all my whatevers. And that's too much. I can't do that. So in the end, he played it with me, and we had a good fun. And then we went after the girls when we caught up with them. And then, every shop he was fine. We went to the toilet when he needed to. Normally we ask him, he always says no, he doesn't need the toilet. But this time, despite saying no, we took him. It was all fun. We had a great shopping experience. But I thought to myself, going back to my point, if they were to say, well, there's nothing there, we don't know what this is, we don't know what the situation is, I'd be kind of asking them, well, why did I have to go through that amount of preparation? Like, I feel like I'm worrying unnecessarily. It's probably, like, we are 99% certain it's going to be fine. It's going to be a diagnosis as we expect. And getting that isn't going to change this. It's not going to suddenly make it easier and fix it. But my worry is just that the vibe I got from the woman in there was that she was kind of like, eh. Whereas the speech and language therapist was like, yeah, maybe. Like, she sort of said, look, I only swam for half an hour, maybe. But this woman was supposed to be the ADOS, the one you go for when you want a definitive. And I just felt like she didn't seem convinced. She just seemed to have, she did the same thing basically as the speech and language therapist did. She listened to him talk. She talked about his eye contact, and she talked about just, this felt like another speech and language therapist thing. That's what I think is the problem. I don't know. I just don't know what to expect. Yeah, like if they say to us it's neither, it's not ADHD, it's not autism. I mean, I don't know. Again, maybe I'm wrong, but I assumed with this, my understanding is that if you had a child with just ADHD, I say just, I'm not saying it's like, oh, that's the easy one. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if it was ADHD, do you need to go to the same lengths to explain everything beforehand and plan everything beforehand? And if something unexpected happens or it gets a bit funny, does that cause the same sort of reactions? Because I'm seeing that as an autism trait and other things as ADHD traits, and I know there's crossover, but I don't think that's one of the things that crosses over. I don't know, but I don't know what to expect, and I kind of just think, I think it's the reason it's scary is because if they say it's neither, then it's like, well, our school going to suddenly change their tact, and where does that leave us? Because there's no answer then, and I don't know what third option there could be. I'm not really fussed about the rest of it, like spending 2 years telling everyone it's this and then it's not that. Yeah, you know, I'm sure you'll forgive us. It seems very likely that it is that. Talking to people, we're all still convinced it is, and that the outcome will be that it is. But I don't know. I kind of wish I hadn't been the one to go on it, or I hadn't asked, and she just asked me questions. If I hadn't have asked, I wouldn't have been worried, I think. On the plus side, we expect to have some idea. She told us it's 4 to 6 weeks, but then I said, well, how does this all work? Because we've not heard back from the ADHD one yet, but we are booked in for a phone call on the 29th of January to talk through it, to talk through some things. It was a catch-up call, we've been told. And I said to her, but the thing is, between the last time we spoke and the catch-up, we've had the ADHD clinic and the ADOS. They're pretty major. Surely they'll want to talk about them on the phone. She was like, well, they're going to get a report today, so perhaps they can give you the answers there and then. So I'm hoping they will. That means there's only 10 days to wait if that is the case. I'm worried that they'll be stupid and they'll go, I don't have to read this for 4 weeks and chuck it into a pile, when the logical thing to do would be like, I'm talking to these in 10 days, I'll read it now and then we'll get it all sorted. Let's face it, they're probably going to read the file 15 minutes before the call on the 29th. So I'm just hoping she just goes, oh, there's that, bish bash bosh, there we go. Rings me up and says, yep, sorted. Because I feel like this affects a lot of extra things, like the things like having the disabled badge that he's entitled to if he's autistic. We wouldn't get that if he's not. And I feel like that would be a major useful thing to have when we take him out. For the amount of times we've had to make a quick exit, and it's just been a nightmare for him and for us, but for him, and you know, being able to just kind of get straight out and go would be fantastic. You know, there's stuff there that, you know, he'll need support as he gets older, and without that, I just don't know what we'll do. So I am starting to get scared. I'm in that little bracket of fear at the moment where I just don't know what the answer is. I'm sure it'll end up being fine, and I'll feel silly. I'm not trying to make drama out of nothing. I just got this vibe from talking to her that, I don't know, I don't know. It depends. If I wasn't worried, you could take her what she said 2 ways. You could take what she said as, you know, I got some good results. I got some good, clear evidence. Because she must know. She must know that a parent's coming there to get... I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, and I'm going to wrap up in a second, but I feel like at least 9 out of 10 parents, I'd say at least 99% of parents who are at that point are going there absolutely wanting a yes so they can finish it and go, we're done. There's going to be very few parents at that point who are going, please don't say it's that, please. Do you get what you know? It's like when you go, if I go to a doctor because I've got a lump, I'm categorically hoping him not to say cancer, right? And I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying, if you're going to the doctors with a lump, you're begging him to say that is just a bump or something tame. And so when you're talking to me and he's going, it's some really good results, you'll be thinking, that means it's not cancer. On the flip side, with this, being told I've got some really good data and I've got some really good results, you'd want that to say, it's autism. Surely that's my logic. I might be wrong. If she's telling me she got good information, she had a good session with him, that it was brilliant, she got what she needed. I feel like what you needed to get in that was autistic traits, so that I can finish this and know that he is sorted and he doesn't have to go through anymore and he's set. If her idea of good results and the good data is that he's not autistic, like I get that a very small amount of people might just go, oh, that's a relief, but it opens up a bigger can of worms. So there's no good outcome there. That's never a good result at this point. Like, I know I sound a bit mad because this is a lifelong thing that you'll have to live with, and I'm not saying that having it is a good or bad thing. I'm just saying that by that point, the result you want is that it's definitive. So I'm overthinking it. I know I am. I'm definitely overthinking it. But I hope you get where I'm coming from. And I'm kind of hoping you'll convince me that she's just got a certain answer, and that's going to help massively. She did say it all gets fed into one big thing and then they answer it at the end based on all of the evidence, and that hers is only one part of it. But I don't know. If you're telling me you've got some great data from this, which weren't her exact words, I'm expecting that to mean you've got a clear and proper response, but not based on bloody eye contact. That just seems... Either way, if eye contact was an absolute sign, it just seems like it's an annoying thing to put in. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. I hope you're all well. We've had a very busy weekend. We went and got a new car for Claire yesterday. Not in like a woo fancy kind of way. My car was due for its renewal. I traded it in to get Claire a smaller, slightly cheaper car, so she can zip around in that at work. She's got a Ford Focus ST something X, ST Line X, I think it's called. A very pretty blue colour. She's going to zip around on that. She gets that like the first or something, I don't know, first week of Feb. Then today, she had a great weekend. Today her phone was due, so we sorted that out. She's got a new phone coming tomorrow. Annoyingly, I knocked the bill down on the car a little bit, and then her phone bill went up ever so slightly, and I'm like, I'm about this much better off. It's like... Like, what's the point of that? But obviously we've got rid of some old bits and sorted them out. So yeah. Other than that, I've done nothing. I slept. I watched football. I went shopping, played Pokemon. Got all my shinies on the way there. Claire drove, and I just caught like 3 shinies on the way. I said to Claire, we can go home if you want. Like, we're coming away to town for me to play. I was like, we can go home whenever you like. Normally, it's me for 3 hours going, I've not got one! And like, at the last half an hour, I get them on the way back to the car at 1 to 2, and I'm like, thank God. But this time I had them sorted, and it was just, that's probably why it was very chilled out, because I wasn't getting all bubbly and upset that I hadn't caught my Pokemon. Not upset, that's the wrong word, I'm a grown man, damn it. But anyway, other than that, weekend fine. We've all just got on with it. Emily she bought some nice new clothes with her birthday bits she'd got. And yeah, it's just been nice. I feel like the weekend's gone really quick though. Can't believe it's Monday tomorrow. But yeah, it's been all right. Hope you're all well. Hope you had a good weekend. Let me know who you got up to. I'll see you on Tuesday. Remember, I'm not recording tomorrow. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you're getting on. Hope you're all well. Cheers.